What's up, everybody? It's Littlest here.
What's up, everyone? It's ICanSnake.
Greetings, everyone. This is Trainor-Ling.
How you doing, everyone? It's James the Con Man. Oh, your hair is beautiful. Oh, tonight, Atomic.
And guys, so for those of you that saw our last review of the season 3 finale, we'll be doing retro reviews until season 4 starts. Alright, so let's start off with the first episode, Bad Hair Day. So, plot here is that Blythe races to fix the horrendous haircut she gave to Zoe while the other pets try to pressure Minka into becoming a famous artist. The first positive would have to be Minka. She was really, this was the first episode where the subplot was about her. And it was a nice kind of like character development almost, so we can see that she's a painter and she wants to, what she wants to do with being a painter. And it was just a great plot for her.
You said this is a rather early episode, so the first episode or so, gave us a little taste of what each pet is about, in the simplest form,
Yeah.
Minka's an artist, Sunil's into magic, then he likes to dance, blah 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 blah. And I think this is the kind of a perfect thing that we got to look deeper into one of the hobbies the pets does, in this case, Minka painting. And, they couldn't have done it better, honestly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. One of my positives would definitely have to be the fantasy sequences in this episode.
Yeah.
The whole art gallery and the Minka ink. Yeah,
It's Minka Inca?
It's rhyming words of 1950 style pets.
Yeah.
I think that was my favorite scene of the entire episode because it's like black and white and it's just so funny. And just like you mentioned those lines, Minka Inca, I loved when Pepper also said, bingo, bango, bongo. It's like so great.
I love it. Though definitely I
thinks
should have to
that,
say the art gallery scene was a lot more, entertaining.
That was funny.
The secret is a secret.
I was gonna say, part of me thinks Pepper was probably trying to channel Desi Arnaz or something with that. Lucy, you got some explaining to do. Babaloo!
Oh, please let that be the reference, please.
Regardless whether it is or not, I'm counting it as one.
Good enough for me.
Another positive I have is when Blythe was grooming Zoe, because she just met all of the pets, and for her to be grooming a pet she just met, it must be so exciting for her. But she must have repressed memories since she thought she was really good at grooming, but in reality she was really bad at grooming. So all of her ways to try and fix her problem were great, especially when she covers Zoe in glue and then rolls her all over her hair.
Well,
You get this giant laser. A laser!
Yeah.
Like, how? I ask you how? At the age of, 16, you can already form a laser?
I mean, I saw the picture of her after seeing the episode for so long. So it didn't look that bad. I'm totally not being sarcastic or anything.
Wow.
Well,
She just had patches of hair scraped off of her. Not that bad.
Yeah, nothing
not a big deal.
Yeah.
But thankfully, Minka was able to rectify the situation.
Oh, yeah.
That's another actually positive. She saves the day at the end.
Yeah, Minka's looks she gave to Zoe was absolutely beautiful. It makes me love my favorite pet even more than I already do.
Well, how obvious.
It's already a lot.
I know, right? Any other positive?
I'd have to say the plot. For me, at least the plot with the pets and everything. I loved everything that they did with it, how they were trying to make her become an artist of two fantasies, obviously, because they form into it. But, yeah, it was really funny. And then there was the breakdown, which me and Cece will talk about, and negatives later on. But, I just liked I liked it in general.
At face value, it seems a little cookie cutter and bland, but the way they did it is actually kind of refreshing in a way.
Yeah.
I was kind of expecting it to be sort of a, oh no, how do I cover up my mistakes kind of episode. But even though that is kind of what happened, she's trying to cover up her mistakes by doing the pet equivalent of tarring and feathering someone, by gluing and furring them. And like Cece said, a bloody laser. I don't know, maybe she has a lot of money and can afford it out.
Or she's just that smart. We'll never know.
How much is Roger paying her?
Well, I guess to be fair, the man is a pilot and he's raking in a lot of money, so...
What about Mrs. T? I don't think she's paying her that much.
True.
Yeah.
Inheritance. But, getting back to how the plot went, it was kind of a twisty and turny and everything, so, I definitely can't say anything bad about that.
Another positive I would like to mention is since my name is John and Zoe's the owners' names are John and Clarissa, Does that mean I own my favorite pet as a pet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that depends. You have a plush?
No, I have a toy signed by Nicole Oliver though.
It doesn't
That
fill the
counts.
fucking void.
Just go to Toys R Us and get yourself one, dude. They're only like maybe $5 or $7.
I should.
Plug! Thank you, Hasbro. I'm waiting for my check in the mail.
So I guess we could go on to negatives right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
I guess you could say one of my negatives would have to be Minka's breakdown. Now, I'm not sure if this was like a real breakdown she was experiencing or this was just a fake one just so, she could just get out of doing these paintings. I mean, I guess if you look at it, either like the first time or like a few times over, you really can't be sure, but I guess in all fairness, if this is what she had to do to make these guys stop bugging her and to make them learn their lesson, I say she did it rather well.
Yeah, I mean, she's plenty justified if that's the
Yeah.
It kind of makes me think of an episode of Arthur where Arthur was having to be in a chess checkers tournament.
Yeah.
And there was a bit where he is tired of everyone, kind of bugging him whenever he's just trying to play, and he just has an outburst at a pep rally that was made in his honor.
Mm-hmm.
And he just lost it. He didn't lose it in a cartoonish way or anything. He just sort of grunted and walked off.
Yeah.
So, it's like one of the jurors in 12 Angry Men said. Everyone has their breaking point.
I guess my only other negative I have is just no one seeing Minka do anything to Zoe behind Blythe's back when she was walking out to the front of the pet shop. I'm surprised that no one noticed her.
I know.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you're like right there. I mean, like they're not invisible. I mean, you like couldn't see that fur flying and that paint going all over the place. Yeah, I mean, I guess my negatives are kind of minor and sort of like little pet peeves, but hey, those are things that I just noticed right off the top of my head when I was watching the episode.
I mean, we all have those little things that are on the back of our head, I think it's called our fridge logic. That's kind of the term I think is what you're referring to. Like, it's a commercial break, we're walking to the fridge to get something to drink or use the bathroom or something, and then we're like, wait a minute.
So,
How come she
I
didn't
know what's
notice
going
all
on.
of that blatantly obvious fur and paint going over the pet shop?
Guess that's what happens when you have a big bowl of self-esteem for breakfast.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just love when Mrs. Lumley says that.
Yeah. I guess it's time for overall.
Yeah.
True.
So overall, it was a really good episode. I can say it's a good episode. Obviously, this was the third episode of the series. This was the first episode after the pilot, and it was pretty good for the first actual episode. The plot was good. The pets were good. Some good character development. So overall, I'm giving this a 9 out of 10.
Something I want to mention before I talk about the episode. We just finished the end of season 3, and now we're going back to the beginning of the series. And oh my god, their voices sound so much different than what they are today. Sam Vincent, he did say in our interview with him that he was still having trouble finding Russell's voice. So he had to make it more cartoony as the show went on. But I never knew it was so deep in the first place. I mean, I loved it deep. Russell used to be my 3rd favorite pet, but now he's my 6th favorite, and he has a cartoony voice. So I guess there's some resemblance like that. And when I first saw this episode, I immediately fell in love with it. My favorite character since the pilot of this show, my favorite character is the star of this episode, and it's the episode right after the pilot. So you can guess how much I loved Zoe more after that. This used to be this has been on my top 10 lists of all time favorite episodes forever. It used to be number 3, but now it's number 8 because I had to bump it down a few because I looked more carefully and it wasn't as good as some of the other episodes. But this is still a top tier episode, so I'll give it a 10 out of 10.
For this being just the 3rd episode into the first season, I can fairly say the episode was not a bad way to keep going after the 2-part pilot. I mean, we get to learn more about Minka's love for art, and I definitely understand the moral of this episode. Do what you love because you have fun with it and not because you want to get a lot of attention. Or something along those lines. Russell and the other pets may have tried to take advantage of Minka's talents, but they certainly learned their lesson, especially Russell. Now, as for Minka's breakdown, I'm not too sure, again, if it was, real or she was just faking it, but guessing the afterglow, it doesn't matter because the pets were still sorry for what. As for Blythe, guess you could say, grooming Zoe, yeah, I think it's best that she just stick with her fashion designs. I mean, it would be nice if she could expand her abilities from clothing to actual hair care styling, but maybe that would be a bit too much for just one character. Besides being introduced to Zoe's owners for the first time, and no one really noticing Zoe being painted as Blythe carried her to the front of the pet shop, I have nothing critical to say about the episode, so I think it deserves a fair 8.6 out of 10.
You know, there's a phrase that many of you may have seen in a certain logo, the MGM logo, that goes, R gratia artis, which means art for the art's sake, which is certainly something that Minka was trying to say throughout the episode in the B plot, as CC so eloquently put it. But as for my overall thoughts, it does have a bit of early installment weirdness. I mean, as Snake pointed out, a lot of voices sounded somewhat different than what we're used to later on, even in the first season alone. Because, you know, like Sam said in our interview, his voice was deeper, and he tried making it more cartoony and wacky as the series progressed. And overall, for an early episode, even after being spoiled by stuff like Pet Fest and Expo Factor and plenty of other spectacular episodes in between, this still is a classic to go back. And honestly, it doesn't feel like that much time has passed since first aired. You know, overall, I like how we got to look into one of the pets' interests, and really just one of them that I didn't even think we were going to look into first, because I thought we were going to look into something a bit more quote-unquote entertaining, like Zoe wanting to be a pop diva or something. Even though she does have a big part in this episode, it's just not the way we were expecting it. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to have to give this one a solid 9. But I've been spoiled by some of the later ones, and some of the little nitpicks. Yeah, it took it down just a couple pegs, but it's still very good. Highly recommend.
And now it's randomizer time. So next week we're gonna be doing season 2. So let's see what the randomizer holds.
And the winner is...
Littlest Bigfoot.
Oh,
well,
one I haven't actually seen.
Well, you're going in blind now, boy.
Yes, I am. I have basically no prejudgment. So
I love that episode.
Going in blind, folks.
That was a great one. So this is ICanSnake.
ICanSnake.
CC Trainor-Ling.
Con Man.
And this is the League of Petshoppers Sunday. I believe I'll see you guys next Sunday. Adios.
Peace out, home slices.
See you later.
Same Pet Shopper time, same Pet Shopper channel.
Hello everybody, DB here, gonna wild you with my mad skills with a quick review. Yeah, if I could whistle, I would whistle the beginning tune because that is my first positive. However, I can't whistle, which makes me sad. It's only been a few days since Blythe's been hired, so getting the excitement of actually grooming Zoe is pretty awesome. Something else, it might not be a negative, but it's just something to point out. We never see Raul, ever. He's never mentioned again. I guess he got sick permanently or something, but hey. Maybe it comes during times where Blythe's not there, you know, because she has school and is busy. Of course, I really love Zoe in this episode. Zoe was awesome. And of course, I can't go that far without mentioning the best and the reason. This is the whole episode of why I started leaning more towards my favorite character, Mrs. Twombly. Mrs. Twombly was awesome in this episode. All the moments that she had on screen, I thought was just... And of course, how can I not have Mrs. Twombly be my favorite character without awesome lines like...
had a big ball of self-esteem.
And amazing lines like this one.
Space Cadet Twombly here.
I freaking love that line. So good. You should know the DB well enough to know that Mrs. Twombly is his favorite character. And of course, we get to see John and Clarissa, Zoe's owners, who, wow, very early we get to see the pet's owners, or at least Zoe's in this one, because we don't see Penny Lings till, I believe, Frenemies, and we don't learn about the others until So Interesting. And of course, Pet Sounds. And that's not till season 2 and 3. So it is interesting for the show to actually give us this information very early, actually. Another thing that's a little interesting. It's a interesting fact. We could just put that logo somewhere. I don't have a logo for it. I failed all of you. However, this episode is the reason why Minka is my favorite pet. I know this episode probably, for most people, isn't the grandest thing in the world, but I really love Minka in this episode. Because this was not the first episode I saw. It was Penny for Your Lap. Then I saw this episode, and I really leaned towards Minka, because Minka was into the art, which I was into for the majority of my life. I can't paint anymore or draw anymore. I used to. I know, Minka kind of just reminds me a little bit of my child self. When I hear that her little stress out was fake or real, it kind of bothers me because it really doesn't matter if it was real or fake. Actually, to be honest, it was actually real. If you've actually been through a lot of stress, like I have, then you'll know how that actually works. Just because she was able to snap out of it for a little bit and then go back to it doesn't make it fake. Now, maybe when Russell was apologizing, that's what it took to snap her out of it. So that's why she was able to snap out of it for a little bit. And of course, another negative that has been roaming around this review is that people didn't see Minka. They didn't see Minka when she was fixing up Zoe and making her look extra special. Again, they were talking to Blythe, they were talking to each other. There are certain things, it's like when a parent is talking to another parent and they're on the conversation, their kid is just messing around and they don't necessarily 100% pay attention to that. It's kind of like that. But Bacon, don't you have any negatives? No, I don't have any real negatives actually. I have a lot of little things that will prevent this episode from being a 10 out of 10. This is an amazing episode. It's been a good starter episode, a great little episode to just flesh out these characters a little bit more. Not too much, which I like what the show does. It kind of gives us a little bit and a little bit at a time. Though a nitpick that some might have coming back to an earlier episode, starting these retro reviews, we go back to season 1, we take a look, and this is the 3rd episode, especially since we just finished watching the Pet Fest not even that long ago. Russell's voice has changed a lot, and Minka's a bit too. So I agree with Ekins 100% on this one. Their voices have changed. It took them Vincent a while to find that Russell voice that we all know. But I digress. It's all good. It doesn't really matter to me that much. So with that in mind, overall, I will give this episode a 9.9 out of 10. It's an awesome season 1 episode and a great way to start off these retro reviews. So I can't wait for the next episode. I'll see you there. So thanks, and thanks again.